Hi everyone, and welcome to my review of the new, upgraded and redesigned colour cubes by Sarah Renee Clark. In this video, I'll be going in depth on the many new features of the cubes to see how they differ from the originals, hopefully giving you every bit of info you need to decide whether or not you want to purchase them. As always, this is not a sponsored or paid video, but I did receive the cubes for free. This will have no bearing on my opinions, and if there's something I don't like, I will tell you. But honestly, there's not much not to like with this one. I've had to write a script for this video because I'll almost certainly miss out or misexplain things. It took me 6 hours to write and even longer to edit the video, so a lot of time and mental bandwidth has gone into this to try and tell you everything you need to know. So if you would, and you haven't already, please subscribe and give this video a thumbs up. It really helps me to reach more people so that hopefully I can inform and help them with their colouring and purchases going forward. Okay, a little background on the cubes in case you haven't heard of them before. Sarah Renee Clark, artist and YouTuber, created 2 physical cubes, Volume 1, Volume 2, each containing 250 colour palette cards that you can use to select cohesive colours for your colouring pages, graphic design, branding, decorating. The list of uses for a colour palette is literally endless. Each of these cards had a photograph with 5 or 6 colours picked from it and the colour names and hex codes on the back. Now, of course, you can find millions of colour palettes online, but having something tangible that you can hold and display on your shelf was very welcomed by those of us who'd rather have colour palettes in our hands than view them on a screen. For those on the other side of that fence, Sarah produced the Colour Catalogue, an interactive PDF of palettes that inspired the physical colour cube. I reviewed the original cubes as they were released and I was in love with them. Everyone knows Sarah's famous for going all out on her quality and functionality, spending tireless months developing and refining ideas to be the best they can be. Sarah was honest about the risks of redesigning everything. It costs substantial time and money, as we know. People loved the original, but feedback kept pointing to 2 big issues. The cards are hard to remove and there's no index. Sarah agreed with this feedback and she didn't want to have her name on a product that wasn't the best it could be. So she went back to the drawing board and spent so much time and brain power on correcting all the issues that I can barely get my head around it all. I'll try and explain it as best I can today, but you can always go and watch Sarah's video, which I've linked in the description if you want the finer details. Okay, after that bit of background, I would now like to introduce the Colour Cube 2.0, but there are 2 sets here. This one containing Volume 1 and 2, and the other containing Volumes 3 and 4. Yes, Sarah's extended the Colour Cube family from 2 to 4 boxes, making it a grand total of 1,000 unique colour palettes. Now, this is a heck of a lot of work on its own, but we are only scratching the surface of what Sarah's done here. I'm going to break down all the changes into hopefully easy to understand and concise chunks for you. The following features will apply to all 4 of the new version boxes, so keep that in mind. And here goes. Physical changes. The original boxes were made of thick compressed paper. The new boxes are made of MDF wood wrapped in a paper finish, the same as Sarah's other new product, the Swatch Decks, which I've demonstrated on a previous video. This upgrade in build quality gives much stronger durability, but also makes the cubes a bit heavier, so just keep that in mind. The coloured squares on the exterior of the old boxes made them quite difficult to tell apart at a glance. For the new boxes, Sarah's used a computer program called Blender to redesign the gradients so they'd be distinct from one another. She also added a belly band with the volume name and step-by-step instructions that will make it easy for shoppers to understand what the cubes are for if they ever go into retail. Inside the belly band is a visual overview of the instructions. Inside the old boxes, the cards were so tightly packed it was very difficult to flip through them and choose a palette without removing a chunk of them to make space. For the new boxes, Sarah's adjusted the depth of the lid so you have more room to select a card. This new deeper lid now doubles as a second tray, so you can spread cards into both halves for easier browsing, and there's now enough height to fit category tabs without them being bent over when you close the box. More about those in a moment. The cards are still quite packed in, but the tabs and the lid tray make a big difference to the usability. Card content upgrades. In the old boxes, there was no organisation of the cards whatsoever. No categorising, just every type of palette all jumbled together. In the new design, there are now category tabs in each cube. These show a visual preview of all palettes in that category on one side and all the card numbers on the reverse, so you can quickly find the one you want. They also make a really pretty rainbow gradient when they're all slotted in. The instruction card can also be used as a placeholder in the deck, saving the space for when you return a card you're using to the cube. There's number stickers to label the volumes if you want to. Personally, I prefer them without. All the category tabs and the number stickers come in a secure envelope so they don't bend in transit. She has literally thought of everything. In the old colour catalogue that informed the palettes of the cube, the categories were outdated, including things like Pantone Spring Trends 2019. Try saying that when you're drunk. These categories have been completely rebuilt to be more logical and timeless, with themes like cyberpunk, fantasy and cityscapes. It's worth noting that the old card numbers no longer apply. All palette numbers have been changed and some of the original palettes have been removed and replaced with new ones. I'll explain more about that in a bit. Each volume now has a really good variety of themes inside, so if you only want to buy one box, you won't be limited to only one or two types of themes. Now that Sarah has distribution centres in Australia, the US and the UK, she's changed the spelling of colour and grey, so that if you order in America, you'll have this spelling, and everywhere else in the world will have these spellings across all the boxes and cards. Colour accuracy improvements. This is a big one, so strap in. I'm not sure I fully understand it myself, so good luck. So the original palettes were made for screens using the colour model RGB. Physical printing uses the CMYK model, so some colours didn't look the same as the digital version once they were printed. The hex codes on the back of the cards matched the digital screen version, but not the printed colours. So Sarah did what Sarah does, and she went the whole hog and rebuilt every single palette in CMYK, so the print colours are much more accurate. Then she converted them back to RGB and updated the hex codes to match the printed cards. The old palettes had confusing colour names. For instance, the colour mint appeared on several cards, each one a totally different shade of green. Sarah undertook the project of the century and created a huge colour name database from scratch. She researched and cross-referenced over 9,000 colour references from multiple existing colour systems. After spending 2 months on this alone, she locked in a final set of 541 individual colours across the spectrum using the same algorithm she developed for her lightfast testing. People have been asking for a third volume for a while, but Sarah didn't want to have the first two in the bundle and then one on its own. So she created volumes 3 and 4, coming up with another 500 brand new palettes. The discrepancies that Sarah identified during the colour coding process, along with the outdated categories, means that 100 of the original palettes have been retired and replaced with new ones. So, if you already have the original 2 colour cubes, then buy the new 4 volumes, you'll actually have 1,100 unique palette cards in total. So what about the digital version? Sarah's completely redone that too, of course she has. It's available to purchase now, but it won't be ready to download until December this year. So when I have it, I'll do a separate video to show you. So you thought all that was a lot of work. Well, it doesn't end there. Do you remember the colour companion, where Sarah painstakingly converted the 500 original palette colours into popular coloured pencil brand equivalents, taking around 40 hours work per brand, by the way? Well, she's done all that all over again, including all the newly identified colours in her database. She's developed a brand new online tool with everything all in one place, designed to make every palette, colour and supply easily searchable and comparable. It's going to be one huge online hub where we'll be able to find the closest match between pencil sets, markers, even things like yarn and DMC threads. There'll be a colour mixing simulator that takes into account the transparency or opacity of a particular brand when 2 colours are mixed together and show you the approximate result. Honestly, the features go on, and I'm even more excited for this than the cubes themselves. It's going to be completely unparalleled by any colour tool that currently exists. Now, I'm not going to go into all the functions on this video purely because it's not live till December, so I've got nothing to put on the screen to show you, and it gets really complex to explain it all without a visual. I will be doing a separate video again for that in December when I have access to the platform. Sarah does go into a few more of the features on her video, so you can check that out if you don't want to wait for my probably scatterbrained explanation. So what are my thoughts on the new version 2 of the colour cubes, along with having additional cubes and palettes to work with, and now having 1,000 different palettes? I think it's brilliant. I've got a lot of respect for Sarah for actually listening to feedback from customers and doing something about it. You know, there's a lot of brands, a lot of products that come out and they have some dysfunctions on them, but they never listen to people, listen to the users and make those changes. Whereas Sarah, she's heard all the feedback, she agrees with it all, and she's just gone for it and spent loads of time and money. You can't even imagine, I suppose, how much money you'd have to spend to manufacture a product, you know, and put in all the different things like the tabs and make sure the height of the box is correct for the tabs. You know, even just having the tabs in that separate envelope when they're being shipped is, you know, it must have cost a lot of money to have specialised different things to be put in the box and really work to Sarah's special requirements that she needed for the boxes. So yeah, I've got a lot of respect for her for doing that, just as a businesswoman for a start. You know, and you get the feeling with Sarah that she is very genuine about everything that she does. She wants to explore art and the colouring world as much as possible, but she also wants to help others have the best resources they possibly can to help them with their colouring, which is, it's absolutely amazing. It's really commendable, to be honest. And I'm not just blowing smoke up her bum, you know. She is a lovely girl, but if there were things wrong with these boxes, I will be telling you. And I suppose the only thing I can say is that they're a bit heavier. So if you are someone that struggles with picking up heavy objects, you might struggle a little bit with these. But I mean, it's not like they're 10-ton weights, you know, you can just tell the difference in the weight because they're now made out of wood. What else? I would say, like Sarah says, the cards are still quite tightly packed, but I don't think there's any way of keeping the size of the card at the size she wants it and keeping the box as a cube. It might have to be elongated into more of a rectangle if you wanted there to be more space for the cards. And she didn't want to downsize the cards themselves because they're a really good size, and she didn't want to change the shape of the box because she wanted it to be a cube. So, you know, she's really stuck to what she wanted and she's made it work the best that she absolutely can with the manufacturers. So yeah, I'm really pleased with them. I will be doing some videos with the new colour cubes going forward. So I'm thinking colour alongs where we choose a palette, things that I've done before, you know, with the other colour cubes, where we'll just choose a random palette, a random page, and we'll colour it and hope that all the colours work nicely together and I can make it work on the page. But I'd love to know if you've got any other ideas for things you want to see from me using the colour cubes. You know, like I said, colour along is an option. Have you got any other ideas? Let me know. I'm always open to knowing what you guys want to see, because like Sarah, I genuinely care about all of you that watch this channel. All I've ever wanted to do is help people. That's the whole reason that I set up Colour with Claire, because I couldn't find anywhere that was showing you the inside of books. You'd have to go out and or order them. You'd either have to go out and look through them in the shops, or you'd have to order them online without seeing much of what was inside. So it was going to be, could it be a waste of money for people? And then obviously the art supply side of it as well. You don't want to spend your money on really quite expensive art supplies and then find out you don't get on with them or they're not very good. So the whole reason that I set up Colour with Claire was to help people identify those things before you went and spent your money. And like I've said at the start of the video, it's not sponsored, it's not paid. I've got absolutely no skin in the game to make you buy something. So if you've watched this today and you like what you see, there is a link in the description. It's not an affiliate link, it's just a link to go to Sarah's website and buy the colour cubes. I think they are shipping now, the cubes themselves. Obviously the digital version isn't available until December, but you can still buy it now. It's just that you can't download it yet till next month. And like I said, as and when the Colour Companion online tool becomes available and the digital cubes, I will be doing a separate video on that when I've actually got the things in front of me so I can show you what I'm talking about. But all that's left to say is I hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope I've said things in an understandable way. I've totally gone off script now, by the way, which is probably why I'm waffling. But I hope that I've made it easily understandable for you. And if you've got any questions at all, please leave them in the comments and I'll try and answer them as best I can. Or I'm sure Sarah will probably see them and reply as well. And of course, she's the one that knows best. So hopefully that's everything you need to know. Thank you so much for watching a very wordy review. And I will see you soon on Colour with Claire.